So let me start with the latest cybercrime or cyber landscape in Hong Kong. Um, from this chart, you can see the blue bar is refers to the overall crime rate in Hong Kong in the past 10 years, where it goes down a little bit and but goes up again in these 2 3 years. And the orange line is the number of cybercrime or technology crime in Hong Kong means any crime that make use of computer, a mobile phone, or electronic devices. It refers to technology crime, including online deception or social media deception, etc. Well, back from 10 years ago, like 2014, that the ratio of technology crime, TC, to overall crime is around 10%. That is, out of the 10 crime cases, there is one case involves the use of computer or electronic devices. But in the first 3 quarters this year, the ratio jumps up to 38%. The figures goes really high, and well, we are expecting it continues to go up. Say for example, in Singapore, the ratio is now around 60% in 2022. So we still have a huge room to grow, actually. But talking about the overall technology crime landscape, from the pie chart on the left, most of those technology crime cases are deception. Say, like over around 1/4 of the cases around about online shopping fraud. That is, people that go shopping online, they see some goods on Facebook or some carousel, they pay money and they can never get the goods. So as simple as that. And besides, when they're going shopping, they're looking for a job or a part time, or they're looking for investment opportunities. They're looking for romance. They're meeting something, having a date online, and meeting new friends, or when they're receive SMS or email, they would also got contact. So that's the way the situation in Hong Kong. But we talk about the amount of loss. Basically, over 60% or around 60% of the loss in Hong Kong arising from online investment fraud. Basically, those victims or investors, they are um, incite or alert to participate in non-existing um, investment plans. And of course, besides online investment fraud, the other is romance scam. Because most of ladies in Hong Kong, they are quite rich, so they every single loss case in Hong Kong, the loss is quite significant. And the other is online employment fraud. They are asked to pay money to do some clickbait task to earn commission. But after that, they never get the principal, and they never get the money back. So that's overall, I think that the situation. In Hong Kong, we got a couple of pain points. I think they are quite common to other jurisdictions. The first one is overseas uh, elements. The other is the anonymity. So needless to say, people use VPN or Tor or anything to hide their identity. And they use stooge SIM cards. For the SIM card registration, our real name registration system just implemented in February in Hong Kong, but there are still some loopholes. I could say in a KYC, when the guys are registering uh, their identity documents, or their the passports or their ID cards, or they could use someone else ID cards, or they could use some fake passport, or even a kind of photocopy to pass their real name registration. So that creates a lot of stooge SIM cards, and people, they just use these SIM cards to make phone calls, or they use a mobile data uh, without a caught. And of course, the other challenges there's common virtual assets, cryptocurrency, and stooge bank accounts, and because quite a big chunk of money, I mean, crime proceeds, they go to overseas after they receive the money in Hong Kong, and getting a stooge bank account in Hong Kong is not that uh, expensive, around 300 to 400 US dollars. The criminals can get one, and the other is the mutating MO. Well, the MO keeps changing from different types of phishing scams to uh, this year. They're about the SMS phishing to WhatsApp hijacking, from WhatsApp hijacking to now there's fake app, but that of the app contains some Trojan that could ask people to enter their online banking login credentials, and even to steal their one-time password, to log into their bank account and transfer all money. The case is quite similar to those happens in Singapore now. And of course, the third challenge is limitation in our legislation. The law itself, well, still got some rooms to improve. And well, in the past 3 years, Hong Kong has passed quite a number of laws against online crimes, but still, for those targeting cyber-enabled crime or digital forensics or court admissibility thing of it, there's still some points to go. And when we talk about strategy, we to combat crime, the very important one is to cultivate the digital literacy in Hong Kong. Uh, well, fundamentally, well, this is old research, but it's still valid because a lot of people they are unable to reliably to detect when others are lying. Basically, we just tend to believe people are telling the truth, and but when, especially when things going to the internet, well, it's become much more difficult. Like when we goes to the social media, it's the same layout, it's the same uh, pattern. Is pretty difficult to say who's lying or what is fraud, what is genuine, and etc. And a lot of law enforcement agencies, they talk about crime prevention and talk about prevention of crime, or not to fall prey to scam. But we are facing different types of sectors of members of the public. But uh, in the context of IT or digital context, they don't really care about scams. Like students, what if we talk about scams to them, what they'll say, well, I don't really care. We care cyber gadgets, we care social media. When you're talking about asking parents, the parents actually don't think scam is of the top priority. When they're concerning about the kids, they're concerning about sex grooming or abusive content, cyberbullying, or if you are talking about asking teachers, they were concerned about STEM, or cyberbullying, misinformation, etc. When you ask IT practitioners, they would say, well, cybersecurity is most important, etc. So it's quite hard to find a common language for different sectors. But we uh, use the term digital literacy, or we use digital literacy as means of community engagement. We try to redefine what's important in the cyber generation. We don't have a very unique or definition on digital literacy like back into the 1980s. Well, if you could switch on, switch off the computer, or you use a word processor, there would be a good computer literacy. But back to the millennium, their term network literacy comes up, and we have MIL, media and information literacy, internet literacy. The first terms, digital literacy, exists in 2014, where they use technology to manage, interact with people, etc. We have internet literacy, and 2-3 years ago we have AI literacy, which literally means besides using AI to work efficiently, we understand the context, we know the limitations, the benefits, the challenges of AI. So, anti-scam is going to the next high level. 10 years ago, we people won't ask, well, it is AI generated? Would it be fake? But nowadays, well, AI generated contents could be something being used in fraud, like on investment fraud. They create some deepfake impersonating Elon Musk to sell some crypto or some investment plan, where we see a lot of things like this. And when we talk about the digital literacy, we try to adopt that digital competence framework. We trying to improve the ability of the general public in evaluating data, information, digital content, and we trying to help them to be aware of protecting their own devices, protecting the personal data, protecting their privacy, protect their well-being, and to solve problems, identify digital competence gaps. That means that they have to know what they don't know, and what they know on the internet or in the online context. So that's quite important. If they cannot differentiate or do not have the ability to fact check, they don't know what is wrong or what's correct or what's general, what's fake, they may not be able to differentiate. Well, that Facebook page, social media page, is basically a scam. They don't have the ability to do so. They don't have to fact check. So a very important approach is our digital literacy program. It's the cyberdefender.hk website. Well, for some reasons, we have blocked the IP from some countries. So if you cannot in your country, you cannot visit cyberdefender.hk. So please use VPN. We have sections for parents, for general public, for students, for IT practitioners, etc. So yeah, let's move to the other the core part. It is the crime intervention strategy. Well, that's a pretty new concept that I personally brought to the Hong Kong police force 5 years ago. We used to, or actually we are still quite concerned about, or put a lot of resources on prevention, but people never think that crime prevention is related to them, not until they got caught and they're losing money. And we got lots of units, we got lots of people distributing like leaflets online and yelling, saying a lot of slogans to not to perpetrate scam. And after a crime happens, well, the people try to just investigate, but they're chasing behind the criminals. They're very difficult because the money goes away, and the criminals, they are not in Hong Kong. So the detection rate is actually very, very low, and is not cost effective at all. So that I brought this crime intervention concept to the Hong Kong police force. And it was like physically we're trying to create some online cyber police presence, and we are trying to stop some ongoing or imminent crime, like when we're on the street, we see someone looking suspiciously, so we will try to stop and search and ask, hey people, hey sir, what are you doing? And we start trying to search any offensive weapons from his body. But just like when we are on the internet, we see some strange post, social media post, of people creating a post, but we definitely think that there's something wrong. Even we got some before we got any police report or someone got lost, we will try to intercept them and try to remove them, or try to do something to alert the public. And the other example is when we're trying to doing some high-rise patrol in the building, we see there are some old ladies forget to lock the door properly. We remind them, well, please lock the door or lock your window. That is when we are on the internet, we see something that happening, or like on some social media page, we see some potential criminals. They are leaving a message, trying to be friend with some lady or doing some romance scam. We have some people try to remind that a lady, well, do not believe in that guys or believe in strangers. They might be the potential victims. So we got some initiative, but the most important is the our stop one stop scam search engine Scameter and the mobile app Scameter Plus that I would introduce you in a second. No, first of all, we do cybercrime intervention. We start from creating our social media, cyberdefender.hk, without any uh, strong sign of police, because the general public, especially the younger generation, they think that, well, it's police is not cool, it's something with old style. We try to get rid of this image and create our own brand, own website, and on social media. We do not use .gov.hk, but we just use .hk. Yeah, to remove that the feeling of being like a government department. And for our social media page, basically we every week we do some name and shame on scam social media pages or accounts, because sometimes when we submit some takedown requests, it takes maybe 2 or 3 days or even a week for that platform to remove these contents or accounts. So that we're trying to name and shame. We put their names on our social media posts. So when, and on the other hand, when we educate the public when they are trying to like buy from an online shop or buy from a website, try to Google or try to put it on social media, like put their names on the Facebook, try to give a search. If the search give a hit on our page, then that means it is a dodgy one. So that I'll try to stop them before they really engage in these in potential crimes. Of course, we have been doing that quite successfully, and I think 1/3 of our social media posts, they are published about press media, like local newspapers, so that so as to uh, amplify our effect to from the online media to the printed media, or yeah, locally. And of course, we the second the intervention measure is we do quite a proactive takedown. And yeah, we have a cyber patrol team. When we see some very dodgy like social media pages or accounts, we would submit it to um, the platforms for takedown right away before we got anyone report the case to police. And we have a small team of we call cyber task force, and we would leave a message, a private message to those potential victims. Say, for example, if there is a um, Facebook page selling some goods, and some online users they leave a message say, well, I'm interested to buy your goods. But of course there's a fake one, there's a fake page. We know that it's an online shopping scam. Then there are cyber task force people. They would try to private message that potential buyer, reminding him, well, if the price is too low or it's too good to be true, so please be careful, like something like that. And well, it's not very successful because most of our some of our messages go to the junk box or strangers box in the social media platforms, so that they might not always read our messages. And the other is we alert online communities. Sometimes when their social media pages or community pages, they got some members creating posts about investment fraud or a job scam, so that we will remind those page owners to try to remove the posts, the dodgy posts regularly, and create other posts to remind their uh, community users, the group users, to be aware of scams, so that we trying to reach these community on the internet, what is free of charge, and we believe that would be could done more efficiently. And on our cyber defender website, we before the Scameter, we have we launched a proof of concept intervention tool that is the online phishing scam search engine. But basically, we just put all those phishing scam related email address and URLs onto that on the internet. Then we create as a form of a search engine. That means that when people they encounter some URL, they're not sure if it is scam related, then they put it there, and they click a search, and they could come up with some result. And yeah, it was launched in 2021. Well, actually, the Cyber Defender website was launched in August 2021, and the proof of concept phishing scam search engine was launched in December 2021 as a proof of concept, because we are, as the management, or uh, they are trying to test the water to see the public perception on that search engine, see whether it's well received or not before they moved forward to the next step. And after a couple of months, when there's no at worst comment, then we upgrade it to Scameter, the online pitfall search engine. Basically, in that search engine, people could input any platform, social media username, ID, phone number, email, URL, payment account, including the cryptocurrency address, IP address, and hash value of some malware onto that search engine, and it could give a result. And that's quite cool. And we put all those the suspects' digital fingerprint onto that search engine, including all those deception cases that we received every day in the territory, and we extract all these digital fingerprints and put it into the search engine. And besides a police report, we also have some open source information, like from the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. That's the regulator of the banking sectors in Hong Kong. There are some they announce some phishing URLs impersonating the banks and the email addresses regularly. Then we also include them into our search engine. And the Hong Kong Computer Emergency Response Team, they also usually report some phishing emails or phishing website. We also include them into our search engine. And of course, some third-party intelligence sources, like the caller, the junk core, the core suspicious core identification tool in Hong Kong, the checkpoint, some cybersecurity companies, Cisco, Changsai, etc. Some of them, they have the capability of real-time analysis or monitoring the cybersecurity level of certain URL. And it's quite easy to use. They just plug in some that, like, mobile phone number, URL, email address, etc., or payment account number, and they immediately return with a risk score in color, either red, high risk, orange means a possible risk, yellow, and purple. Purple means no record, but it still doesn't mean risk free, because it simply means uh, the victim has yet make a report, but the report could be coming. and we mind that if they get a purple, but they still have to stay vigilant at all times. So that's how Scameter works. This is one of the examples. They give it jpegs.io. These are related to scam, and they will show a status, or that URL is related to a scam report, and we give some tips and some disclaimer, and it's very easy to use. But basically, we introduced these over 1 year. It was launched in October to last year, and the major users, they are banks. Basically, when they're onboarding new customers or with some customers applying for loans, they would usually put their uh, phone numbers, email addresses onto the Scameter and check if they're scam related. If they are, so they will immediately reject that customer. And besides that, the banks, we also extract all those URLs, I mean the domain names, and those suspicious mobile numbers, and we send those numbers and domain names to all the telecommunication service providers in Hong Kong, including the MNO, mobile network operator, MVNO, a mobile virtual network operator, fixed network operators in Hong Kong, for blocking or for the registration. So over the past year, we have, yes, furnished them thousands of URLs and quite a number of mobile numbers for those crime prevention initiatives. And we think that well, this is quite significant or a quite efficient way, because if those MNOs or mobile carriers, they block it, the citizen could immediately cannot access to that website that could help them, save them from visiting the website. That would be cool. And in February this year, we also launched the mobile app of Scameter, which have a very similar function to Scameter. They could simply make a search by using the mobile app. And in the past year, there are 1.9 million searches. For information, in Hong Kong, there are around 7.4 million people. So that the search number is reached 1.9 million, which is pretty significant. And amongst those 1.9 million searches, we got around 16% of results. They are either yellow, orange, or red. That's with risks. So that I think the performance is pretty should be fine. And now just this last Sunday, that is 2 days ago, we integrate that a Scameter database with the faster payment systems in Hong Kong. It was a faster payment system. Basically, it connects all the major retail local banks in Hong Kong and the e-wallets in Hong Kong, so that the people can transfer money from a bank to an e-wallet, or a cross e-wallet, or cross bank without a charge, and instantly. And basically, uh, it could be as simple as when I'm using e-banking, I could simply enter the mobile phone number or email or the fast payment system ID of the recipient. Then I can send money to that guy. I don't even have to input their name or bank account number or the e-wallet ID. So that, yeah, just a mobile phone or email address or FPS ID, which is just a string of numbers, is very simple. And because it's so simple and so convenient, there are a lot of crime cases where criminals, they use this fast payment system as a platform to receive the crime process, and that creates a lot of trouble to us, because they just receive money instantly, and they could change them to the other currencies e-wallet, or they send it away from Hong Kong to somewhere else. And that suspicious proxy alert model, or make it short, the scam alert model, it works basically very simple. We send a batch of files that contains a list of fast payment system proxies, that is the mobile number, email scam, the email and FPS IDs, which are reported as scam to that fast payment system daily, and they do a matching so that when, because this fast payment system, they are connected to all those e-banking system and e-wallet, so that when there's anyone who use the mobile phone or e-banking or e-wallet to try to transfer some funds, if that a mobile number or email or FPS ID, they are labeled as high risk, that is red in our Scameter. In their payment confirmation page, they would receive an alert message, remind them not to transfer. So that this is a sample of this alert message. Yeah, according to the fraud prevention information provided by the Hong Kong police on the Scameter, that faster payment system recipient proxy ID is classified as high risk. And the default button, we suggest the banks to make it cancel, that is not to transfer when they see the alert. So that, and the customer, they don't need to do any registration, they don't need to opt in, they don't need to install anything extra or download anything extra, so that they could receive that alert message. So that we believe this is a quite significant move towards a crime intervention. But I spent around 2 years in this project, and if eventually it was implemented last Sunday. We do encounter a lot of difficulties during the process. The most important thing is the legal issue. How to handle that personal data? Are we eligible to share those personal data to the banks or to the fast payment system, or are we eligible to disclose that bank account number or the mobile number? They are risk related, so we do overcome this legal issue. And the second is the deprive of receiving properties. Originally, that scam alert model, the design is to stop sending funds. That means if they are a scam related, the sender couldn't even send money to that beneficiary. But we cannot get through all those legal requirements, so that we use another less harmful, I mean less intrusive way, is to give an alert. That means the sender could still has the liberty to send money to those beneficiary. And the damage of reputation is the concern from all the legal departments of the banks, because when a bank customers, they see this message, imagine if people are sending funds to me, but they see their message against my bank account, so that I'll definitely complain to the bank. So that we spend quite a lot of time to convince those banks, and we Hong Kong police, we take all those responsibility to handle all those inquiries and complaints referred by those banks and digital wallet, that is the store value facilities operators. And besides those legal hurdles, is the means of incentive. Well, sometimes this is policy, or this initiative initiated by the government and the public bodies. Sometimes it has to be top up. But this project is I mean, sometimes it's a top down approach, but this time we use a bottom up approach. That is, our working level has believe there are some need to do this project, and we work out together. And after that, we got our commission level or C grades clearance and the support to get things done. And one of the another issue is all those banks. We got 44 banks and e-wallet operators involved. Each of them need to bear some implementation cost, and they have their own concern. They have all their own agenda, or own budget. So it's not that easy to get all those on board on time. And a third challenge must be the budget. For Hong Kong Police, we have very little budget on this project, and most of our budget is on PR issue. It rides on the authority of Scameter. So, Scameter was just launched for 1 year. A lot of people still don't know what is Scameter, and there's also might not be aware of that alert model, so that they might simply ignore the message when they read the message. And so that we insist the proceed no, not the proceed button, it's the cancel payment must be the default option, and let them to stop and think and not to transfer when they see such a message. And well, last but not least, we see some criminals. They are shifting from fast payment system back to normal bank account, and to receive crime proceeds. So that the next move, we hope that sometime next year, we could extend that scope from fast payment system, phone number, email address, FPS ID, to those traditional online banking, bank account number. I mean, when they're transfer online, or they try to deposit money on the branch, or when they're using their ATM machine to transfer, so that if their beneficiary bank accounts, they are reported as scam, they could get a notice in the e-banking system, in the ATM machine, or the cashier could tell that, well, that beneficiary is scam related, so that the payee, the payer, could stop and think and not to forepay the scam. So that's our wish. And also in our mobile app, in the next 2 months, we will launch three functions. The one function is when they are receiving our incoming call. If that caller ID, they are scam related, they will see our alert. It's like yeah. And the other is when they are visiting suspicious URL. They will see a pop-up alert asking whether to still continue to visit that URL. And we add some public report channel on suspicious phone number and URLs, especially when they believe they're not content, but they still see some, wow, that URL looks very suspicious, or they receive a call. That call sounds very much like a scammer. They don't bother give a statement and report formally to police. Then we to make a very simple channel for them to make a report. And at the back end, we would collect all those reports daily. If they're from various source, we have some AI model to give a scoring, and we would automatically index those reports to different levels risk, according to a number of reports and suspicious level. And so that we hope that we could bring that crowdsourcing concept to crime prevention. And from crowdsourcing, we could strengthen the data in a Scameter, and we revert them to all those telecommunications service provider for blocking. We provided them to our scam alert model. We hope that we could create a good cycle in order to prevent crime. So that, yeah, that's pretty much I would like to share with all of you. I hope you guys could understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, and see if you have any problem.
Thank you very much, Lester. I think it was a very interesting presentation. We have several questions in the chat, and if you have more questions, feel free to use the chat. Ian, you were the first one to have a question. Would you mind unmuting yourself and raising the question?
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Lester. That was very informative. It's always interesting to see the law enforcement perspective as I come from the banking side. The one thing I saw was you were looking at the scams, which are very much those I think the customer themselves bears the cost of. The bank impersonation scams, hello, this is HSBC, this is Hang Seng Bank, I need you to move money to a safe account. I didn't see those in there. Is it the fact that you're not seeing them so much in Hong Kong, or it's the fact that those are refunded by banks, so they're not figuring into your reports there?
Most scammers, in terms of telephone deception, they pretend to be the government official in the mainland China, or they trying to be a health department, say, or that you got a COVID or etc. Usually they pretend to be government official instead of bank staff. Yeah, they say, well, you're wanted, so that to prove that you are innocent, please surrender your online banking credential and send some money to a designated account to prove as a deposit, and we would give it back to you, something like that.
Yeah, it's just interesting to know, because, as I say, we're now working with two of the banks which make up 60% of it there. So we're pushing that number down over the next few months. So it's just trying to understand how much reports to law enforcement. So I like what you're doing, with the technology enabled, that piece in the middle where the bits where the banks can't catch it. I think that's really clever.
For the cases in Hong Kong, around 90% of deception cases are online. The rest of them, 9% are telephone deception, 1% are local street level deception. So that we quite focus on combating online deception. Of course, we still also value telephone deception very much, and that's why in the next stage we are extend our scam alert model to traditional banking bank accounts.
Yeah, I should say in this, obviously it does move to the digital channel where they are getting the customer to move it themselves. But it's interesting. I think what I've seen is, as you block the technology side, they move back more to enabling or attacking the actual human themselves, and that's what the banks have seen elsewhere in the world. So I'll stop there. But thank you for that. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question, Ian. We also have a question from Jeffrey. Would you mind unmuting yourself and raising the question? Let me otherwise raise the question. What Jeffrey is saying is, this is a great project. Any plans to integrate the results in Google Safe Browsing to block these malicious URLs at the browser level? Lester?
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah, I try to make it a browser independent. I'm not sure if this Google Safe Browsing would only applies to Google Chrome, or it would also applies to Safari or other types of browsers. Yeah, but it's worth exploring. Yeah, to integrate with Google Safe Browsing. Thanks for the suggestion. I'll take this message.
Thank you very much, Lester. Also a question from Ms. Lau, and I'm not 100% sure if I understand the question. I'm not sure, Ms. Lau, would you be willing to unmute yourself and raise the question directly?
It's okay. I just want to know that, because Lester mentioned that about the majority will using phone numbers and FPS ID. Isn't that giving the personal information for those who got the money? Doesn't it help to just get the spammer behind?
Well, the fast payment system works like this. Their phone numbers, they are connected to a bank account or an e-wallet, so as to receive funds. And FPS ID is a quite unique one. Simply based on the FPS ID, we can't get the real identity of a person, but we have to ask the the platform to do some matching to see which bank account or e-wallet account they are linking to. Or it's quite similar. When we find that there's a phone number receiving money, then we need to ask the fast payment system to check. Wow, actually, to which bank account or e-wallet account they are connecting to, so that we could do the fund flow analysis. For phone number, before the SIM card reunion registration implementation in February this year, it could be a prepaid SIM card, and now still could be a stooge SIM card that is registered by a fake Hong Kong identity document or someone else identity document. So phone number is actually, it's not quite possible to trace someone's real identity. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much. I also had a question. In one of your first slides, you showed the different types of scams. There are two types of scams I'm not familiar with: naked chat and compensating dating scam. What are those scams?
Oh, naked chat it really means sex extortion.
Extortion. Okay, thank you. And compensated dating?
Oh yeah, actually, compensated dating is the term in Japanese that in Singapore is a credit for sex scam. Usually the guys, they meet some scammers who pretend to be a very beautiful lady, and the lady asks for they solicit for a sex service. Then, but before a meeting, they ask the guy to pay a deposit or to buy some game points or iTunes gift cards to send serial number to them, but they never meet in reality. No, compensating is that for old guys in Japan, they trying to help some to compensate or to assist some young ladies, but in return they got to get the company for dinner or for sex. Yeah, that is similar concept. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lester. Two last questions. The first one from Steve. Steve, if you're able, could you unmute yourself and raise your question?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Lester. So my question is, I find that the Hong Kong police and your team has done a very great job on prevent any more scam. So you mentioned about later that you will check or have alert on some calls related or browse some danger website, for example. But for telecom, there is another way, for example, SMS. So do you have plan to implement this kind of SMS tracking in the future?
Well, that's a very good question. We have been dealing with the OFCR, that is Office of Communication Authority. It is the regulatory body of the telecommunication service in Hong Kong. We are pushing them to change their code of practice to allow telecommunication service provider to look at the sender ID of those the SMS message. We are trying to convince them to follow the Singapore's model, to have a registry, so that like banks, government departments, if they cannot spoof or they do not change their own sender ID name. If they are not in the register list, then the sender would be shown as a likely scam in the prefix. That is a very good model in Singapore. But in Hong Kong, we launch a SMS sender registration just for banking sectors only in December. And because people could still spoof the sender ID, so it might not be very efficient to block those SMS thing. And for in the level of telecommunication service provider, if the regulatory body could change the code of practice, they could have the power to check the content of the SMS, and if the SMS contains a patterns of a URL or a phishing email, they could simply filter it out. And the other solution is the app contains SMS filtering function, but it has to get users' consent, allowing the app to read their SMS content. That might sound a little bit too intrusive at this stage for users, so that we try to move it step by step to let them. The public is still quite aware that, wow, police install an app on my mobile phone and checking my SMS, they would have some worries. So that we are quite cautious in this move. Well, actually, we have the ability to do so, but we in some political view, we are trying to move it a little bit slower at this stage. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lester. The last question, Dilip, would you mind raising the
Sure.
question?
Yeah, I think thanks for the presentation, Mr. Lester. And it is a related question. You mentioned the scam alert for telcos, but do you also have plans to, because many of these calls that come in, they actually are spoofed numbers. So is there any plans to also work with the telcos to deal with such caller ID spoofing?
Yes, it is another challenge for us. For those spoof caller ID, the Hong Kong code, the country code in Hong Kong is +852. Now all the spoofed ID, they would be by default add and +852 in the caller ID, and there is a mandatory 10-second voice or automatic voice message when people pick up the phone to say, well, it could be possibly an overseas call, so please be alert of any scams before they really pick up the call. And we see that recently there are a lot of modem pool. The modem pools used to plug like 48 or 96 SIM cards to as a call center to send out to make a spoof calls. And now the modem pools in Hong Kong, they are seamless. That means they don't need to plug a SIM card. The scammer, they have their the modem pool with SIM cards in the Southeast Asia, and then they do some remote control to that seamless modem pool in Hong Kong. And when they as like router, when they go for this router, that SIM card would spoof their location, so that they would cheat the telco as if they are in Hong Kong, so that when the telcos, they receive a signal or receive an incoming call from that modem pool in Hong Kong, they would regard it as in Hong Kong and erase that +852 caller ID. So that's a way the scammers, they are evolving the way they do telephone scams, and they even hire domestic helpers. They hire people to put that device at their home, at the room, but they could be as victims of other telephone deceptions, so that they don't even know they are actually helping the criminals to spoof the caller ID. This is very complicated, and we're trying to put it in a way that we collect the IMEI number of these devices. Because they're from the same factory, so that the first digit, that is the prefix of the IMEI number, could be the same or similar devices. We now pass it to the mobile carriers, let them identify if that caller ID they're from the device with the same set of prefix. They would just block all those calls. So that's the way we are sorting it out. But of course, this is still in the experimental stage. I hope it could answer your question.
Thank you very much, Lester. I think it was a very good question and a very good answer. I really would like to thank you for your presentation. I think Hong Kong is really taking the lead in protecting consumers better with all the tools and services you're providing. Thank you for sharing. Then again, thank you very much for taking the time. A big applause, and I wish you a very good night. I wish all the participants a very good night, and I hope to see you in our next meetups. And Lester, again, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you for the invitation, George.
Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.